Arc 3.0 is almost here. It's right around the corner, guys. In this video, I want to go over what fragments we could possibly see with the future subclass. So really quick, if you don't know how they work, you have your aspects and fragments. Aspects are more so geared towards your character. They're unique to your character, but fragments are a bunch of abilities that are for all three classes, and they kind of benefit the whole subclass itself. As you see right now on Arc, we only have 3 selectable nodes, but this will be changing next season, and I think it could be very good. So the way Void and Solar work, they took what their main abilities were and kind of made them into aspects, but they took a lot of minor stuff and made them into fragments so every character could use them. For example, Ember of Benevolence right here is basically Benevolent Dawn that with the Warlock had, so when you apply Restoration Cure Radiant, you're going to get ability cooldown rate. Also, Ember of Torches right here, power bailing attacks against combatants make your nearby allies radiant. This is pretty much the middle tree Warlock melee back in the day, so you can kind of see they just took a little nodes, made it into fragments, and they spread them all out where every class can use them. Well, if that's the case for Arc as well, we can kind of go in and look at all 3 of our Arc subclasses and kind of take a peek of what returning stuff might happen. Of course, we're going to receive new fragments as well that we probably never seen before. That will probably synergize with aspects or even exotic armor. But if we go on and we just start off on the Warlock, first things first, let's take a look at what probably most people are excited for, and that is Arc Web. Arc Web is a Warlock perk where it says enemies damaged by your grenades chain deadly lightning to nearby enemies. Each grenade or melee chain returns grenade energy. More on the melee chain in a second. So essentially, this perk is going to basically make your grenades have Trinity Ghoul in your grenades. You can just chain lightning everywhere. It's very, very good, especially paired with something like Arc Grenade. You can do a lot of damage, and it is really good for grenade focused builds. The cool thing is, every time you chain lightning, you will also generate grenade energy. Now, more on the melee chain, they also have their melee ability called Chain Lightning. So this electrocuting melee ability changes lightning from the struck target to nearby enemies. This is basically chain lightning for your melee. I can imagine they probably might combine both of these perks together and be like, when your abilities hit enemies, aka your melee and grenade, you will chain lightning, which will then restore grenade energy. I can see them making this into its own fragment, and it will probably be one of the strongest ones for at clear builds. Now, if we move on to our next subclass, we have Chaos Reach. Obviously, Chaos Reach is not going to be a fragment, but we have things like Ionic Trace. So defeating enemies has a chance to create Ionic Traces. Collecting Ionic Traces grants energy to all your abilities. They've already introduced Ionic Traces as things like Cold Heart, so every class can use them. So I would imagine this will probably also be a fragment when you get ability kills, or just maybe like this when you get kills with weapons, you will generate them, which will then generate your energy. This is going to be very strong if it is on every class. Now, you also have things like Pulse Wave, so being critically wounded triggers an energy wave that boosts your allies' speed. Pulse Wave is a super good perk. It is very, very good for PvP, even PvE, just getting the same amount of reload speed, handling, everything like that. It is very, very nice to have. It kind of lets you get back in the fight, whereas normally you would just be very weak and have to run away. You get a bunch of benefits and you can keep going. Then finally, for the bottom tree, there really isn't much that I think could be a fragment, so to say. This is based heavily on the Warlock itself with its Arc Soul and Storm Trains, but it does have the perk Rising Storm. So this electrocuting melee ability recharges your super grenade and melee energy. So maybe when you melee enemy, you just get all that energy. This could be for every class, which could be really, really cool. And imagine having a Rising Storm paired with the combined perk of Arc Web and Chain Lightning. The amount of ability energy you get back would just be disgusting. And I really, really want that, Bungie. All right, so moving on, we'll go over to the Titan. On their first skill tree node, we have things like Aftershock. So damage enemies with Seismic Strike recharges your grenade. This is their melee ability. I'd imagine this is going to be taught into like the other 2 perks where your abilities hit enemies, they will chain lightning and give you a grenade recharge rate. All this is probably going to work together. I just want to mention that I don't think this perk specifically is going to be a fragment, but I think it is going to work similar if they are combined and make their own thing. But now we do have Magnitude right here, so gain an additional grenade charge increases the duration of grenade effects. A fragment that gives you a whole grenade for every class I feel like might be a little strong, but if that is in the game, grenade focused builds with Arc Web having like 2 storm grenades is just going to be disgusting, and having the increased duration of the grenade effects is going to be a fragment on its own. And if this was to come as a fragment, I think it would just be the second part. I don't know about gaining a whole additional grenade because that is really, really strong. I don't know, but this could potentially be a fragment. Now, the next 2 we have Inertia Override. So picking up ammo during a slot reloads your equipped weapon and grants melee energy and increased weapon damage for a short time. This could very potentially be a fragment because they specifically said they want movement to be a main thing for Arc 3.0 alongside like chain lightning and everything. So this could play really heavily into movement because you're always getting to the fight, you're sprinting, your sliding to get that reload, and also damage increase. Gambit is also receiving a new origin trait, so when you get kills, you get sprint speed increases, compare really well with that. So I imagine this could be a fragment, which could be very, very fun. Now, on the last note, there's a lot of melee focused things, which obviously compare really well with the other stuff that we went over on the Warlock. But we have frontal assault, so striking an enemy with this melee ability to reload your weapon and increase both your weapon ability and weapon damage. This could very easily be a fragment. Just getting a melee kill, you get some benefits. This could be very, very cool for every character. Now, we also have reversal, so melee kills immediately trigger health regeneration. I think this was probably gonna be a no-brainer. This probably will be a fragment. Void has something just like this, so having it on Arc could obviously be very easy to implement, but they might not want to do that since it already is on Void. Now, we also have knockout. Critically wounding an enemy or breaking their shields increases your melee range and damage. Again, a very, very good perk for PvP. I could see this just plaguing the Crucible if this is a fragment for every single class, but we'll have to wait and see. Imagine pairing this to something like a Ophidians. It would be crazy. So finally, let's move on to the Hunter. So we have combination blow. Kill an enemy with this melee ability to trigger health regeneration and increase your melee damage temporary, stacks up to 3 times. So as you see, they have another kill enemy with melee ability to trigger health regeneration. They can kind of combine those together to make one fragment. This will also increase your melee damage, which could be very cool as well. If every character could have this and you can run Winter Scowl and Worm God's Caress, this could be very, very good. Then you also have things like combat flow. So this specifically says dodge, but melee kills recharge your dodge ability. This could very much be melee kills recharge your rift ability, melee kills recharge your Titan shield, anything like that. It would be a little strong if this is a fragment for every class. Just go and get a melee kill to get your rift back, but I mean, in the game right now with Solo 3.0, you can just get a kill with your fusion rate and get your rift back. So this could very potentially also be a fragment. Now, moving on to the next tree, we have things like lightning weave. I actually have went over this in my other video where I talked about Legend of Acre. If you guys like to go watch that. But lightning weave is a perk that says melee hits directly increase your reload speed. Dealing damage with the weapon extends the duration. So essentially just getting a melee hit now is going to give you all these other benefits from all the other fragments we went over, but now you're going to get a very, very hefty reload speed increase, and just doing damage with the gun extends the duration. So this would be very, very cool if it's a fragment. You can pretty much keep this up at all times if you're constantly doing damage. If you're not, just run up and get a melee. You have 5 seconds to this and you can just keep it proccing it over and over again. Very, very good if this is a fragment. And we also have ebb and flow. So hit a target with an arc ability to electrify them. Melee and electrify enemies disorients them and grants grenade, melee, and dodge energy. So if this is a fragment paired with, arc web and stuff, having a melee just, electrifying everybody, giving you all this energy back, disorient everything, could be very strong. Definitely be on the lookout for this. This very possibly could be a fragment, and I'm very excited if it is. And speaking of disorienting, let's go into the last thing. Disorienting blow. Strike an enemy with this melee ability to disorient the target and nearby enemies. So just go to melee enemy, disorient them. This could very obviously possibly be a fragment. Then combat meditations. So when critically wounded, melee and grenades recharge drastically faster. I feel like this one is also a no-brainer. It is just very easy to implement. Every character can run this very well. You just get weak, you get a bunch of energy back. Then the last two are dodge-based things, but again, they kind of work like the other one where they could be potentially for every class ability. So sprint and recharge your dodge ability, increase your maximum sprint speed. This could also very easily just be a fragment. It will say class ability instead of dodge. Then also lightning reflexes, so you're harder to kill while dodging, so you're harder to kill while using your class ability. So that is the potential of what the fragments could possibly be with Arc 3.0. Let me know what you guys think about the possibilities below. Obviously, having your arc web with ebb and flow, having your melee give you all this energy back, disorient enemies, it is going to be crazy. There's a lot of heavily melee focused stuff, but I really think grenades are going to shine a lot as well with Arc 3.0. And speaking of grenades, remember, we are going to receive every single grenade for every class. So you Titans and Hunters, you can use Storm Grenade, which is the best grenade for Arc. I won't have any questions about it. It is very fun. It has the lowest cooldown and it does a lot of damage. Obviously, I'm just joking. You can run whatever grenades you want to, whatever you like, but I do love Storm Grenade, and I really would recommend Hunters and Titans giving it a try with Arc 3.0. But anyway, guys, again, that is going to do all for me. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Are you excited for Arc 3.0? And if you guys would like to see more content just like this, consider subscribing, dropping a like, and turn notifications on. Also, if you'd like to join the Discord and follow me on any of my socials, all that will be linked below as well. But just know watching the video is way more than enough. Any and all support from you all is truly appreciated. But thank you all so much for watching this one, and have a great day. Peace.